Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, and on this topic I just wanted to talk about something real quick, and that's that the empath must become cold as ice. The empath must become cold as ice. And I don't mean like you gotta be evil or anything like that, but people know that you're an empath right away. And they like to test you. Some of them, they assume, right, because you're respectable, that you're an empath, and some of them, they might not know if you're an empath or not, so they will say things like, I can tell you're a good person, or I can tell you're nice. They'll say things like that because you have something that they don't have, and that's respect. When I say you gotta be cold as ice, I don't mean you gotta be wicked or anything like that. I mean, when you meet people, what I used to do at least, right, was I used to say too much. I'm still kind of like an extrovert, but give me 1 second. I'm ordering some food. Hi.
Hello, 1251? And you say green salsa, right?
Yeah, can I get 4 of them? Thank you. Y'all, I always do this at the wrong time too. You know, I've been making these videos, but I've been going to war, and I already made a video on that, on how the empath is going to war. You have to go to war. Life is war or whatnot. And I'm sorry that I'm in and out on this conversation, but I wanted to speak on this because I run across a lot of people who, when they come across me, they're like, oh, you're really cool, you got a cool vibe, you seem like a real person, you know, like I knew I liked you, you know, I knew I liked you, oh, you're funny, oh, you know, they give you compliments. A lot of times they want to let you know that they know you. Give me 1 second. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. So a lot of times they'll say things to you. This is what I realize, right? Because I come across a lot of good people. Sometimes I run across empaths that are too nice, that they don't even know that their kindness is also dangerous. And I didn't know that, right? We all didn't know these things once upon a time. We didn't know how dangerous narcissists, how evil they can be, right? So once upon a time, you know, you said too much. You exposed the narcissists. See, they like to ask you questions. A lot of times they ask you personal questions right away. They want to know, like, are you married? Do you have kids? They want to build their own perception based off of your reality, but a lot of things in your reality don't make you who you are. Your children don't make you who you are as a person, but they want to use these things to get to you, to manipulate you, or to think that they have one up on you because they know more about you than you know about them. And then next thing you know, you're just an open book. And now they're talking to you, and they're saying things according to what you're saying, right? They're saying things according to what you're saying, you know, because they're technically love bombing you because they're making you believe that they're a good person. A lot of times they'll start sharing with you like their past experiences, their traumas, and you'll start sharing things, and you think like you're having a deep conversation. Oh, I like their lights. You think you're having a deep conversation with somebody, and then they'll say something to you that'll make you question everything. And I've been in those moments where I'm like, this person seems real genuine, and then they say something where it's almost like, oh, you know, oh, how can you, you know, you'll say something like, you know, I could tell you've been through things, and you'll say positive things to them, positive, you know, affirmations to them. You'll tell them that, you know, you have faith in them, whatever the case is. You'll put words of inspiration in them, and then, you know, you'll say, you know, I could tell, you know, that everything that you do it with good intention. You'll say things in a positive way, and they'll say things where it's like, how do you know that? Right? How do you know that? Just because I shared all these things with you, you think I'm a nice person? So I had a situation like that where they didn't directly say that to me, but they said something, and then my intuition started giving me like flashes of that person's real life. Like I started to see between their lies and the fake stories that they were creating, and not only how they try to make themselves the victim in every situation, but they're leaving certain details out, and then you'll just have like this bad feeling about them. So that's really what happened to me. And I said to myself, you know what? This person's absolutely right in a sense, because that little red flag they gave me said a lot. And I said to myself, when people have conversations with people and they think, people are sharing their stories, or you're just having regular conversation where someone gets you to feel comfortable, it's a way of hypnotizing you. Because if you automatically trust someone or feel comfortable around them, right? Let's just say the room is quiet, and now someone starts speaking and they're like, oh, I'm not shy, and they start talking to you. You might think to yourself, like, this person made me feel comfortable. They're the first person that came up to me at this new school that I just started, and they've been really nice to me. They came up to me. They knew I was a new student in this school, and like they told me I could sit with them. And you don't know that this person is literally plotting on you the whole time. They spotted you out, and they thought to themselves, I can use you, I can bully you, I can befriend you and find out what kind of phone you have, and then get my friends to beat you up and steal your phone. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when people start telling you or feeling comfortable with you, you got to be cold as ice. You got to question every question they ask you. You got to question who they are as a person. A lot of times you're not going to get to really know somebody on a first day. You might share a lot of things about yourself, but those things don't make you as a person. Just like your children, your family, your past experience don't define you as a person. A lot of the things that happen to the narcissist don't define them as a person, because they still choose to do what they do and feel oblivious to it. And some of them really they have a lack of intelligence. So their only way of survival is manipulation, because they don't know anything else. You're dealing with a narcissist, man, he don't know nothing else but to steal, take, and lie. You're dealing with a Jezebel, she don't know nothing else but to steal, lie, and take from you, manipulate you with her body, because she don't know nothing else. There's no intelligence there. There's a lack of intelligence, lack of empathy, emotional intelligence. And then when they start to realize something wrong with them, they start to mimic these things, but it's not who they are. So you got to be cold as ice. And I say this because I ran across someone, right? I run across, like I said, a lot of empaths, and they'll be very giving to me. They'll share with me and things like that. And the whole time I'm thinking in my head, like, because a lot of people will put a lot of trust into me. And I am someone that you can trust, absolutely. But I also think to myself in my head, because I know the narcissist is like an angel, and they come at you like they're an angel and they're a whole demon. So my whole thing is, when I come across good people that are just too nice and they don't have no limits to their kindness, and I think to myself, right, even when I try to do something nice for them and they don't want to accept my kindness, and I'm like, come on, man, you can't. If I'm trying to offer you something, like, take it. Like you got to think to yourself, like, if you've done something for someone wants to reward you and say thank you, take it. You take your blessing. The fact that you don't want to take your blessing, it scares me, because it makes me feel like you allow people to run over you. And when I run across empaths, I always, that do a lot the most, I always tell them, how do you know? I always say this to them, how do you know I'm a good person? Like, how do you know that? How do you actually really truly know that? just because I'm nice, just as that you never got no bad vibe from me, I get it. But when I'm around empaths, and I look out for a lot of, the people closest to me, I look out for them by loving them and teaching them how to love themselves and teaching them how to be careful. I always teach them lessons like, you just did that there, you got to be careful with that. I always let them know, because I know how it is to be manipulated by a narcissist and how quickly it can happen, and how you could put your energy into someone and you could be rocking with them for months and years and you never knew that person. Narcissist told me after a decade of being together, he said, you never knew me, you don't know the real me. I kept trying to show you who the real me is, but you didn't want to believe it, right? They know what they're doing. It's intentional. So I always think to myself, if you're being this kind to me, especially people that I just met, right? I think to myself, you must have a lot of narcissists that take advantage of you because you're too nice. And you could be nice, you could be respectful, but you have to have a limit. That's why I say you got to be cold as ice, not cold as in being evil and things like that. But when you meet people, when you're getting to know people, when in your relationships, you got to be cold. Meaning that when somebody, like people in my life, when they cross me, I tell them why I'm going to stop talking to them. I tell them, if they don't want to, that is if they don't want to take accountability, right? Then I tell them, you're not going to want to take, if you don't want to take accountability for this, don't get mad. Don't blame me for things that I didn't do. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't tell other people you don't know why I'm talking to you, because I'm telling you right now why I'm not talking to you, because certain things I can't let slide, like people that lie and stuff. I can't let this slide until you realize that a lie is a lie, and a lie can grow, and it could grow really big, and it could also get people in trouble. So if you don't get that, I can't talk to you. So when I'm letting someone know this and they keep doing it, I tell them, don't get mad. Don't go and talk to other people about me. Don't tell people what you've done for me, like I ain't did nothing for you, because I'm not someone that exploits people, because that's what people like to do. They like to throw what they did for you, but I'm not someone that exploits people. So don't talk to me or make it seem like I am what you're used to, because what you're used to is people that actually really do use you, and they take your kindness for weakness. No, once I see that you're being too nice, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna want to do for you too. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, I'm gonna let this bitch pay, I'm gonna let her do this just because I know she gonna do it. But I always think it in my head, like if you was with somebody else, they would be exploiting you. So when you don't respect that I've been respectful to you, that's when I know I gotta be cold. And everyone in my life that I've let them know my boundaries, if they are people that genuinely care about me and genuinely appreciate my advice, my kindness, my feedback, the fact that I'm letting them know everything they might do to me before they do it, because they might even be a narcissist in their own way and don't even see it, or they've been around, a lot of times they just been around a lot of toxic people for so long that it's normal for them to be in that cycle, that same cycle the narcissist was on. So if I gotta be cold as ice and you don't fuck with me after that, because you're like, oh, she's mad, I don't know why she's mad, and now you're doing exactly what I knew you were gonna do, then you are not for me. So you got to be cold as ice. You got to be, you could be yourself. You could be lovable. You could be giving without wanting anything in return. But there's a point where you know where people are pushing you, and when you let people know that, hey, this is my limit, and they crossing the limit, that's when you got to be cold as ice. When you're meeting people, you could be yourself, but hey, once they start asking you personal questions, that's when you got to be cold as ice, because it's none of their business, and they know what they're doing. They're like children, and you shouldn't be afraid of them because they're a grown-ass person, because they know exactly what they're doing. That's when you got to be cold as ice. When someone is manipulating you or gaslighting you or making shit up, that's when you got to be cold as ice. You got to be cold as ice all the time. You got to be cold as ice all the time. That doesn't mean being mean. That means you got to be listening to what people are saying. You got to be paying attention to people's body language. You got to be paying attention to people's motives and always be on some cold shit, ready for a motherfucker to turn on. You got to be ready. Because if you ready, you ain't got to get ready, and you never going to feel used or played with, because anybody that respect you, they're not going to play with you. You got to be ready to flip the switch when somebody does something that disrespects you as a person or puts your life or your family's life in danger. You got to be cold as fuck. You got to be cold as ice. There's going to be times where, you know, you're meeting people, or you're dealing with people at work, or you're dealing with people in your social life, and, you know, they might say something as a joke, and you might tell them, hey, don't play with me like that. You know, you might tell people what they're doing wrong to you, or you might tell people what they're getting ready to do before they do it. And you see the snaky stuff happening. And a lot of times you're really not supposed to expose these narcissists, really, because they get mad. But when you know if you're steps ahead of them every time, they're going to respect you more. They're going to back down, because they're going to say, hey, I thought this person was nice, but they're cold as ice. So a guy, he said this to me. He said, I could tell, he said he was trying to do some shady shit, right? He was trying to do some shady shit. And I caught him in the shady shit, and I called him out on it. And he's like, nah, that ain't what I'm trying to do. I'm like, yeah, that's what you're trying to do. I said, I ain't mad at you. You know, that's part of the game or whatever. But I'm also not taking no L's. I'm not taking no losses. And he's like, no, I wouldn't do that to you, because I could tell you're a nice person. He's like, I know. So I could tell. I was like, how can you tell I'm a nice person? He's like, because certain people are mean off the bat. I'm like, a person could be mean and be a good person, and a person could be good and be a bad person. You get it? And it be the nice people you got to be careful with, because we're being nice. We're being nice, not because we have to, because we don't owe you shit. As an empath, we really don't owe none of you motherfuckers shit, because y'all full of shit out here. But we also know we also know that we gotta respect people out here, because you disrespect someone, you disrespect their whole bloodline, their family, their friends. So we also understand that respect comes a long way. So the fact that you're telling me I'm a nice person because I'm respectful, it really lets me know that you really don't know what a bad person or a good person is, or you're trying to manipulate the situation to make me trust you. And I'm gonna go with B. You're trying to play games with me, but I'm too real for you. And now that you see I'm too real for you, now you bowing down. That's why you got to be cold as ice and let a motherfucker know when he's sitting here telling me, oh, I could tell you're a nice person because of the way you are. I said, you said you treated someone badly, but really you the one who started it with them. And I know you started it with them because they don't have nothing to gain from fucking with you. You was fucking with them, and now you're low-key trying to fuck with me, and you're trying to tell me, oh, I wouldn't do that to you because I could tell you're a nice person. That's your way of manipulating me. That's why I said I could act nice. I said, how do you know I'm a good person? Oh, because I could tell you're nice. I said, no, that's me being respectful. And it's until I feel disrespected that I'm not going to be nice anymore. And what a lot of narcissists do is they like to disrespect you first, and then when you call them out on it, they act like they're the victim or they get mad. That's why you got to catch that shit before it even escalates, because see, they're waiting for you not to catch certain things, and you're not going to catch things all the time, because there's different games that are being played out here. So you're not going to catch a lot of this stuff at first. You're probably going to catch it a lot of times until it's too late, and then you're just going to have to start all over with another narcissist, and they going to play that same game in a different way, and you just not going to go for it. But that's why I'm letting him know, don't play with me, because just because I'm nice don't mean I'm dumb. They think because you're nice, you're dumb. That's a low-grade narcissist, because low-grade narcissists are mean, just all the way around. A more intelligent narcissist is going to be nice. You know what I'm saying? So always know you got to be cold as ice out here. You got to be calling people out on their bullshit. You can't just jump up and think that because someone is being nice that you're just alike or you're the same, because you're not. A lot of times they're just trying to get to know you, to get into your head, to make you trust them, and they're really trying to exploit you. So that's why you got to be cold as ice. And I'm gonna just end it there. Love you guys. Bye.